What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy J Dub, the number one comment on YouTube, and I'm back with another review. Today, I will be reviewing Married at First Sight. This is season 14, episode 14, and this episode is called It's Just a Blip. Before I get started, for those who are new to my channel, I do detailed reviews of shows. I may not get every single scene, but I do pick up extra details that you may have not noticed. And just to let y'all know, this is the home of the number one commenter. So the channel is all about these comments. I don't ask for the likes or subscriptions, but I do need those comments because this is what I do it for. I could be on anybody else's channel just making comments after comment, but I make this content so I can get comments from y'all because, on this channel, the motto is we say what we say. And what that means, if you don't know, anything you want to talk about, say it. It don't matter. It don't matter, how big Mark the Shark Eyes is or Lindsey drinking 17 and a half bottles of wine. It don't matter. Say what you say. The only thing I ask is that when you make those comments, just be respectful to each other. Why? Because on this channel, this is the home of the Dub fam. And yeah, we're a community. We got to treat each other right, respect each other. But y'all want to talk about these people on TV? I don't care. So let me go ahead and get into this last and final portion of Married at First Sight. I do separate couple by couple reviews, and we're on the last installment, which is Mark and Lindsey. I got to get on this because I got a whole lot of notes on them. So it started off, we back at the House of Cats. And Mark and Lindsey, they're preparing for the couples retreat in Vermont. And, we can't have a scene without, a cat walking across the counter. And Mark is removing, cat hair, with a lint roller off his clothes or whatever. I guess so he can look halfway presentable. So Mark and Lindsey get on the road. And Lindsey's driving. And she just makes a point to Mark to point out, who's her former boyfriend on each exit or whatever. Mark is like, you got a boyfriend on every single exit. You got, sound like you got some commitment issues. And I'm thinking like, why is Lindsey saying this? But I don't know why I'm questioning that because Lindsey always has some type of off-putting comment to Mark that maybe humiliates him or embarrasses him. She goes out her way to push Mark's buttons. And they arrive at the retreat house, and the retreat house is all that. You got, there's a gorgeous log cabin equipped with a pool and hot tub, fire pit, nice scenic views. And Mark and Lindsey actually get there first, so they race to find, I guess, the best bedroom with the view. So once everybody else arrives, the husbands decide that they're going to cook dinner for the wives. The wives are relaxing in the hot tub. And when I said the husband's cooking, I really mean Steve. Steve is really doing all the cooking. And the guys just have a discussion of like what's going on within their marriage. And Mark is saying like initially he wasn't really looking to be in love with Lindsey. Even though I can't recall like on their honeymoon that he told her he loved her. I'm not sure. However, Mark is saying like he just wants to know there's enough there to move on to after decision day. But he's saying like right now he could never decide that because him and Lindsey are always on such a hot and cold vibe. They argue probably every 48 hours. So it's really tough to say if Mark's saying like they're really going to make it. I don't know how they're going to make it because it's just been like a total toxic situation throughout the whole time. And what we talking about? We might be like 45 days in. So, Lindsey's in a hot tub, and she's not telling the same story that Mark is telling. She's pretty much telling like the marriage has been so difficult because she really hasn't had time to, I guess, address their issues because Mark's life is just in shambles. He has dealt with, in less than 2 months, he's dealt with an eviction. He doesn't have a job, and it's just so much to deal with. And she has to just try to fix the mess that I guess he's made or he's dealing with in order for him to breathe. And Lindsay's saying pretty much she didn't sign up for that job. That, what I thought she claimed that she wanted. She wanted to take this role on as Mama Bear. And Mark, he falls right in line to that because he even stated that I guess once his mother and grandmother gone, he's going to need somebody to like fill in their shoes. Pretty much, he wants Lindsay to be his Mama Bear. So I don't get the part where Lindsay saying like she didn't sign up for it. Maybe I guess all that he got going on is overwhelming to her. But I mean, in a sense, I could see that because again, you're meeting somebody brand new, you're married, and everywhere you turn, you got something going on where, like, hey, we've been here 2 weeks and now I'm evicted out of my apartment. And now I've lost my job and coming up with all these excuses. So I can see how that would be a lot. But again, that's what she said she wanted. She wanted to be there for Mark and take care of him. And he wants a mama. So I'm thinking it's working out. So the couples, they sitting down, they're having dinner that Steve made. And Olajuwon, he really noticed like how much slimmer Mark was getting. And Lindsay, she jumped in. She got to put her say in it, even though Olajuwon was talking to Mark. She was pretty much saying, well, that's because I've cut my husband's salt intake down. And, he hasn't been down to this weight since he's been in like what she said, college or high school, and now he's in fighting shape or just trying to just boost herself up and talking about well, Mark, your wife sounds like the best thing that's ever happened to you, boo. Is it me that's only like so annoyed with Lindsay when she gets to that I don't know what we're gonna call it, the girlfriend talk, like hey and all that and boo and all that bull. It bothers me a whole lot. She turns it on and off so much, but it just gets, like I said, real irritating to me when she does that. And Lindsay, you can tell like she getting there as far as like she getting drunk, and she let everybody know she's like, well, one of y'all ain't coming back as far as the weekend. Like she Fire Marshal Bill off in Living Color. If you don't know that, look that up. But yeah, she break out and laughed, and everybody looking at her like what's wrong with her? What's going on? Like even Nori, like she's strange. Tight lip Nori, she's strange. Like she had been ventriloquist because it's so off-putting and obnoxious. They just don't understand. And you like, okay, I think Lindsay's been drinking a little bit. It's really starting to turn because when Lindsay gets in social settings, you see like all she does, she has a cup in her hand. She just turning the cup up and down, up and down. So, Lindsay had mentioned at the table that I guess a real positive thing about their marriage is Mark. He often brings her out like the funk that she's in and lets her know like, hey, we may have had a disagreement or argument. However, it's just the blip. And actually, that's what the episode is named. And pretty much everybody at the table, even Elijah wants to say, I'm taking that to the streets. Because I told y'all, Elijah was kind of funny this episode, even though I'm not a Elijah fan at all. But, yeah, I guess Mark brings her peace. He calms her down. And, like, don't beat yourself up about having an argument with me. It's just a little blip in the situation. So it's morning time, and we see Lindsay, and she's full of Lindsay energy, and she's poking Mark and playing with his underarm and kissing them all on, the neck. And Mark is visibly annoyed by it and pretty much tells her, like, don't wake me up like that. I don't want to be bothered like that. And I'm not sure if Lindsay sees this as a forms of affection or she's really poking at Mark. Because like I said, Lindsay is really into pushing Mark's buttons, humiliating him, and doing stuff like that. So I get it how Mark is just like so annoyed, and she's just bothering him. And Mark had mentioned to Lindsay that they are scheduled to have a sound bath because she's so hyper. And what's the sound bath? That's the first time I heard it. It more like it, it's more like a ringing of a bells or cylinders, and they doing like a Buddhist chant, num num reggae ho and all that kind of stuff. But Mark is suggesting this so she can just calm down. And Lindsay is like super offended by that and saying that, Mark is just being so rude. And Lindsay like breaks down. She's emotional, eyes red, look like she's been up all night crying, talking about, Mark always takes these digs at her and she kind of like ignores them. But it's just not a joke. And it's just, like she's super emotional. Now, I'm gonna tell you, every single scene that Lindsay's been in, episode 1 through 14, maybe 2 through 14. Let's say that. Lindsay has been taking a dig at Mark all the time. And a lot of times it goes way over the line. Mark saying pretty much like she's hyper or got energy. Now Mark is the enemy. Mark, and this is the thing. I'm not a therapist. I'm not qualified, but I'm on this channel, so I'm gonna speak like I'm a doctor or something. This is when like mental illness kicks in at this point. I know Lindsay's father warned us like she has a sharp tongue, but Lindsay is suffering, and I'm not making her the victim. I'm saying it's like, she is actually emotionally abusing Mark, but it comes from like a different place. Because remember, like, what was that last episode? She told Dr. Pepper like she feels sad all the time, and she's projecting that sadness, that anger, that pain that she's going through onto Mark, and she sees him like a weak target, so she can just attack anytime she's feeling some kind of way. And I just don't know how Mark puts up with it. Like she makes him feel like the worst, like he has to walk on eggshells, or just at any second they can have a fight that just blows up everything over nothing by him saying that she's hyper. So that's offensive. That's degrading. That's, such a dig. And Mark and Lindsay finally sit down by the fire, I guess, to try to talk about like really what happened there. And she's just so upset about it and just saying that she's not happy with him and she's sick of him taking digs at her, and pretty much like he's intimidated like by her happiness, or he's putting her down to lift himself up. And Mark is like, he's really calm about it. He's like, well, that's not what I'm doing at all. I'm not intimidated by you, or I'm not trying to hurt you to put you down. I made a little joke. Like, he really couldn't understand it. And Lindsay is just like gaslighting this man to no end. And again, in a minute, Mark is going to be, he's going to be mentally ill himself dealing with Lindsay because she's driving him crazy. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know how he puts up with it. But they get through it because Mark has apologized. And that's what Lindsay really requires. It doesn't matter whether Mark is at fault. If she feels bad, she requires an apology. That's what she needs to move on and move forward. Regardless if it was her fault, Mark has to say something. So Mark and Lindsay, they go down to the sound bath. It's like at the bottom of the hill of the property. And they land on their laying on like little blankets and got their eyes closed. They meditating, and I don't know. Lindsay must have thought she had a meeting with the psychic medium, because she started to feel her grandfather's presence while they doing it, and she crying. But in this emotional moment, even after it's over, Lindsay goes out her way in her confessional to make sure that she takes another dig at Mark, like she always does. But she plays the victim, talking about like while she was thinking about her grandfather, he was a very difficult man. So she pretty much has a pattern with that, in foreshadowing dealing with Mark. So, like I said, every episode, multiple digs. And they be way over the line. Like, he shouldn't even talk to her no more. But I guess let's get to the fun part. Michael and Jasmina, they're hosting a field day, with all the couples, and they having a great time. Everybody's participating. They playing all the games and all of that. And to me, yeah, the field day part was fun, but the best part got to when they played the game like in the nighttime, talking about who's most likely to do something, and everybody was sitting down. But I forgot to point out just little details. I point out. I was wondering why like Noy and Steve was eating during the game. Was they late to the game or something like that? Because they was like trying to hurry up, get their food down, and nobody else was eating but them. But who knows? Maybe they was in there making up. But the question came. The question came is for everybody, like who was the most likely to spend, I guess, the most money on their partner, and of course, Lindsey said herself, and she get that when I told y'all she get that girlfriend talk, that switching up something. Well, I like nice ish, and so I'm gonna buy nice ish for my boo. Like Lindsey, shut up. But I guess where it got real interesting is when they showed Mark's answer, and Mark said it would be him, and Lindsey just broke out into that fire marshal Bill laughter all loud, and everybody looking at her like, everybody get to Mark the Shark eyes when Lindsey get to going with that laugh, and they just like, what's going on? And you can see Mark is bothered. He got, it's his eyes. He got the Mark the Shark eyes. He looking, and even Noy pointed out like, Mark's face is saying everything because Lindsey is pretty much humiliating this man. So, so pretty much, I guess Lindsey asked Mark, "Was this a joke? Like you really spend money on me, or you have money to spend?" Like what she was insinuating. And Mark was like, "Yeah, if you wanted something or needed, I would buy it." And she still laughed. She's like, looking like it's saying a whole lot what I was saying something. Like that's what she does. She is the one who humiliates Mark. She is the one who takes digs at Mark all the time. And she's okay with that. So the next question comes out, who would be the stay-at-home parent? And Noy flipped over the card to say like she would because she wants to, I guess, stay home with her kids. And Lindsey decides to insert herself in that situation very strongly, taking offense like, oh, what, women who work, can't be good parents. And Noy like, where'd that come from? I didn't say all that. I'm just saying I want to stay home and spend more time raising my newborn kids or whatever. So it really started to take a left. It was really getting offensive at that point. And Mark and Lindsey actually said that Mark would be the stay-at-home dad because I'm a 2-income household and all that and talking about, well, I bring home the bacon and Mark will be there to cook it, all that kind of stuff. And Marcus, he got them eyes again. He, at a time he didn't before because I guess Lindsey was making less offensive comments. But at this point, Mark's eyes is like stuck like that permanently. And another question came up with, like I said, this game it was a disaster for Lindsey and Mark on both ends in different ways. So the question came up. Jasmina asked who would be most likely to lie to their friends, I guess, about their sex that they're having in their marriage. And Mark put Lindsey. And Lindsey laughing, and you could tell at this point Lindsey's all the way drunk. She all the way in, and Jasmina asked him to explain it, and he was like, "Well, I believe that Lindsey would paint the picture that it was something that wouldn't be true." And Lindsey was like, "Yeah, you're probably right. I would probably tell you that the sex is good." And everybody was like, "Ooh," it was so cringy. It was it was embarrassing. Mark was humiliated, but he sits there with like the best Mark the Shark face. He can just deal with it because it's way too much. Even Olajuwon like, damn, bro, like come on now. This is ridiculous. Like you are humiliating this man, and it just got to be ridiculous. But where the whole game just went off the rails is when the group was asked who is most likely to start a fight. And then everybody pretty much said, including Mark, said Lindsey. And after, I guess Jasmina was the last person to answer, but she just put her card up. And Lindsey was like, why? Because you could tell she was so bothered by it. And Jasmina was pretty much saying like, well, because normally when stuff come up, like getting into fights, you like a part of it or whatever. And Lindsey was pissed. And you could see it. She started hitting her drink, like just pouring the rest of the wine into a champagne and drinking. And Mark was like, oh no, this ain't gonna be good. And then, I forgot the did I forget the part? No, I got that part. I was going to say Steve annoyed, but because Steve also picked Lindsey, Lindsey got on Steve was talking to Noy, saying, "Noy, you better get your man. He been making slick comments all day, and that's what she do all day, whether they playing games or not. But she's saying, telling Noy, you better check your man. I'm gonna have to get on him or whatever." And Steve, Steve is the peacemaker. He don't want no trouble. Quick to apologize. Hey, Lindsey, if I offended you, I don't want no problems. I don't want no smoke. I don't want nothing going on with you and me. So that's all it took with Lindsey. But after Lindsey hit her drink again, her 17 and a half bottle of wine, she was like, well, look, she got to go into girlfriend mode when she checking everybody. She like, I don't give a F about none of this, get to the hand grab, I got God in me, and I love me, and I wake up every morning refreshed and all that. And I never had that wolf pack mentality. So y'all need to watch my lead and take heed, because I'm on the way to the top and all that. All that stuff that a very insecure person would say to build themselves up when they're feeling defeated. Like Lindsey can dish it out all day, not just to Mark, anybody else. She'll say something slick, something way over the line, crazy to you. But you say anything to her, anything about her, you are degrading her, you're demeaning her, you're dismissing her, all that crazy stuff. Like, I'm telling you, Lindsey is mentally ill, and I said it. I don't have a degree in therapy, but she's gone. So after the most likely game, obviously Lindsey's so upset, so she's going to verbally abuse Mark some more. I don't know why they didn't show it. Maybe it was in the bathroom or what. But Mark kind of like separated himself, and Lindsey, she got to come and see about him, but would he negatively affect Mark's mood and make him feel bad about, I guess, what he did by answering Lindsey is the one most likely to fight or whatever. And Mark pretty much stepped aside with Michael to find out. Michael just wanted to know what was going on. Was he okay? And Michael's even noticing like, hey, these arguments between them, it's kind of on brand. I like that term, because they don't normally have peace. And Mark pretty much explained to Michael, he was like, we were out at the fire. You need to stay away from that fire pit, though. It's always trouble out there. They're out in the fire, and I guess they're both starting a fire. And Mark uses some of Lindsey's, excuse me, kerosene to start the fire. So now Mark has crossed a boundary that he should not have by using Married at First Sight provided kerosene to start the fire. He's dealing with a mad woman. I don't even know why. I don't know why. I can't go that deep with Mark, because it's like you gotta think about yourself at some point. This lady is like breaking this man down, and Michael, as I told y'all, they get very insightful when they speak on other people's marriages. She's like, Lil Mike, like, go in there and talk to Lindsey directly. Find out exactly what's going on, because we know it ain't about no kerosene. So, Mark goes into the bedroom with Lindsey, and because he took Michael's advice, and it was a mistake. Lindsey started go rambling about, he wanted to find out what was going on, and she gets into a ramble about Mark isn't like honoring her, and he just started going all over the place, and Mark didn't understand what she was saying. But what we did understand is that Lindsey took another opportunity to take a dig at Mark and pretty much saying, well, I really have to take a pause with you because ever since I met you, your life has just been falling apart. It's been in shambles. And Mark was like, wait. Like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with you. Now you starting to talk about my life. Like, that's a straight up dig. And Lindsey was like, oh, is it really? Is it really? Like, your life ain't falling apart? And I'm thinking, like, even if it was, that wasn't the time to bring that up. And y'all weren't addressing, like, what was really going on. But maybe that's in Lindsey's mind. Like, all that she's dealing with in her mama bear mode is way too much on the marriage. But she does it in such an emotionally abusive way. And Lindsey's, she gets to the point where, she's done. Lindsey then left Mark like 12 times in 6 weeks. So, Mark is like, yeah, I'm gonna just leave it alone and just walk away, because he doesn't want to deal with it because he keeps getting on this emotional roller coaster with Lindsey. So it's the morning time, and we got a different Lindsey. Why? Because she's sick like a dog to her stomach, and she felt like it's something that she ate, and she needs to go to urgent care. And she's very apologetic and everything, but it don't have nothing to do with no bad food. I'm no doctor again, but looks like alcohol poisoning. She's just all messed up. Like I said, 17 and a half bottles of wine doesn't work for anyone, even though if you're used to drinking since you were 13. That's fine. But I'm going to say Mark held true to his marital vows. He taking care of her, after she didn't continue to dog him, and she apologized. Like, Mark is a better man than me because, like, Lindsey has already shown who she is and who she's going to be, and she's not apologetic. And she actually wants you to apologize for it. So it's just too toxic. You got to know when to cut your losses. And this is one of those times. But Mark said he's a guy who hangs in there. Maybe because sometimes he don't have a place to stay. But okay. I couldn't be in the same room with her. So when Lindsey finally gets to the urgent care, she's doing much better, like when she wakes up, because she's been given IV fluids. And again, that's what happens normally when you're really dehydrated, when you're putting 17 and a half bottles of wine in your system without drinking water. That tends to happen when you play volleyball instead of drinking water. Gatorade, you drink a beer. Okay. But good luck to you, Mark, because I couldn't see it. So that was pretty much the end of the episode. And I had a lot to say about that because this episode was really a lot about Mark and Lindsey. And what I've been telling y'all, they've created the perfect storm. Mark his previous love was one of those types of women that when she gets drunk, she gets verbally abusive. But now they find him a drunk, verbally abusive wife to trigger him. Instead of trying to find him something better that he would need or compliment him, they didn't want them to succeed. They wanted to see an explosion. And that's just what they got. I'm tired of looking at Lindsey. I'm tired of looking at her depressive, crying, accusatory, all kind of stuff. I don't even want to see Lindsey no more. She's making me sick. And especially when she gets all that girlfriend and hand grabbing and all that, them culture vultures. But anyway, that's it. Drop down in the comments. Tell me what y'all think. It was a lot. I'm glad. I think that's why I waited for them to do the last one, because I'm exhausted. So again, y'all know I've been trying to catch up on my videos due to my scheduling for my journey through real estate, and I appreciate all the patience. So as I always tell y'all could be anywhere in this YouTube world, but you're here with me. I really appreciate it, and I really mean it.